every creative idea, it's a property that guarantees copyright claim. My name is Kenai and this is My Music on Television. In this week's edition, we have a business analyst, and all you need to do is to sit back and take some things down so that you can help your business or your creative idea.
Okay, so my name is RITA, ANWIRI CHINDAH. I am an intellectual property lawyer, an IT lawyer, that's information technology. I'm also an arbitrator. I'm a podcast host and blogger for IP series where I talk about everything intellectual property, what you need to know about it. And I just recently started lecturing at River State University. Okay, so my major role, I am an intellectual property lawyer. So my area of expertise require me to interact with not just creatives, but inventors. So if you have any intangible assets, you create stuff, you build stuff, you write, you sing, you draw, whatever it is you do, because intellectual property is like a big umbrella that has its tentacles in every industry. There's always something to create, there's always something to build, there's a name, there's a logo, there's a tag, you name it. And how intellectual property helps creatives is you have to monetize it. So like it's defined, it says used in commerce. If it's not used for commercial purpose, then it doesn't really qualify or fall under intellectual property or IP for short. So basically, my role, I can act as a consultant, and an IP consultant based on whichever industry your business is. I'm currently consulting for a culture and tourism heritage project. Be a legal advisor for an artist, a musician, advisory role for filmmakers. If you have a business where you manufacture products and you need advice on how to go about it, other than just creating, you have to develop it, and then you get to a point where you have to evaluate to know if what you've created has commercial value for you to monetize it. Monetizing can be in form of you selling, although I will not advise anybody to sell, but if you have to sell, please do. Licensing, you can go into an exclusive license or a non-exclusive license. Non-exclusive gives you more revenue. It's called royalties and stipends, but mostly considered to be royalties. You can limit the license to a particular jurisdiction or expand it. That is where non-exclusive comes in. Whereas for exclusive, it's just between you and I, it's just one party. Then you can also build a franchise around your business. Some of these foreign companies coming into Nigeria, like the KFCs and the rest, they are franchises. Yeah. Then you have where you can collaborate or go into partnerships or create merchandise between the likes of foreign celebrities, going into collaboration with big fashion labels. But we've seen that the creative sector in Nigeria is actually thriving, especially the entertainment aspect of it and the fashion aspect of it. I know the pharmaceutical industry is doing a lot well as well. But yeah, that's like, it just gives you an idea of how big intellectual property is, and how my role as an IP practitioner can come in. You don't have to, strategically position yourself and identify which of these elements you feel is more important. So, not for instance anyway, but then we have like types of intellectual property. We have the copyright, which protects the creative, majorly the creative sector. Then you have trademark, which protects commercial business, because it basically helps you differentiate from one brand to another. It's more or less like that's what is used to identify you. And then there are certain criteria that you have to meet for all of that. And you have industrial design, which protects everything you're seeing here. So from the chairs to this to that, the visual appearance, combination of colors. Then you have patent, which protects how your phone works, how this table, what's the functionality of that invention you created. Then you have trade secret, which protects confidential information. Anything that makes your business thrive or gives you an edge in the market. that if it gets into the public domain, it's going to cause damage to your business. Let's narrow it down to our property, which is the creative sector. Now, for the creatives, like I stated, your major law would be copyright. However, because of commercialization, you can opt for trademark. So your stage name or your business name, publishing name, your film company name, your logo, sign, symbol. Then you have non-traditional trademark like smell, colors, and the rest of it. So copyright first would protect artists' literary work. So if you write books, you write poems, you draw, you sculpt, you're an architect, you're a music producer, you're a film producer. So audiovisual works in terms of cinematograph works, sound recording for music producers, broadcasting rights, I think, and musical works basically. So that covers it. Then you have the non-traditional copyright, such as folklore, traditional cultural expressions, traditional knowledge. Those are a bit more technical and detailed because now you're dealing with identity of people. And what we know for copyright is that there's always a fixed term of protection, which is called term of duration. Whereas for the non-traditional or non-common copyright, like the traditional knowledge where information are being passed down from one generation to the other, you can't really say there's going to be a term of protection because it's sensitive. It's generational. Someone is passing down. So this is my family. It's not like a heirloom. So I'm giving it to my next generation, the next generation. You cannot say, oh, for the next 50 years, that's how long you can do it. It's that sensitive. Same thing with traditional cultural expression, your folklore stories, songs, poetry, murals, all of those things. They're a bit very sensitive, and which is why you find that most jurisdictions or countries do not expressly have laws that state, oh, for a term of duration, this is how long this class of work will last. Yeah. Then for the copyright, basically you have the performance rights as well, which is now growing. So it's more or less like called related rights. So it's a type of copyright, but considered to be related in terms of the class of people that are there: actors, actresses, musicians who perform, etc. So yeah, property. When you think of property, you're thinking of ownership, you're thinking of control, you're thinking of how to make money. Tangible property, something you can see. But when you bring it down to the creative sector, you basically cannot see it unless it's in a fixed or tangible format, like your songs, your films, your books, videos, artwork, architectural design, all of those sets. So for IP, when it comes to the creative sector, these are considered to be intangible assets that have commercial value that must be used for commerce. So like I stated, for creatives, you can opt for either a trademark and copyright, or just copyright if you want to just focus on the fixed or tangible format you created your work. You must have an original character, and it must be in a tangible format that can be produced now or later on. So you don't just say, oh, I have this idea and consider it to be copyright. Copyright doesn't protect ideas, word, phrases, format, etc. So luckily we have a new Copyright Act which is very detailed. It's a long read, but it's very detailed, and I will encourage every creative that will be watching this to actually take their time. If maybe you do not understand, then you can consult either a copyright lawyer or an intellectual property lawyer or a lawyer within your creative sector to explain, because now what we've seen in the new law is that the Nigerian Copyright Commissioner has a lot more rules. There's going to be a lot more engagement and interaction with the creative sector. So property in terms of the creative world are intangible property, intangible assets, and that can also be transferred. It can be licensed, it can be assigned. So you have what is called the collective management organization or collecting societies. They are the people that the Nigerian Copyright Commission have authorized to act on behalf of creatives. So they have different categories of this. So you have the audiovisuals, you have the one for artists. I think you also have the one for publishers, but the most prominent one or most popular is the one for artists, and that's because I would say within the last 10 to 15 years, there's been this battle between COSON, which is the Copyright Society of Nigeria, and the MCSN, the Music Copyright Society of Nigeria, something like that. They were fighting for the right to actually represent creatives, entertainers. whereby people were saying Kosan wasn't really doing their job, and then this new group sprung up, and NCC, which is Nigerian Copyright Commission, had to cancel the license of Kosan at some point, because there are certain guidelines and certain requirements that you have to meet to become a collecting body or a CMO in Nigeria. You don't just say, oh, I want to be a CMO, you should come and register. So now, under the new copyright law, whether you're a member or not of that collecting body or CMO, they have the right to help you get your royalties from anyone who's using your work, copyrighted work, without your consent. So and then again, you find instances that the creatives themselves are not really interested. They're not engaging the stakeholders or the regulators. All they're interested in is, I just want to sing or write and become famous or go TikTok viral or Instagram viral right now. There's also provisions for takedown notice for copyrighted work online. So you see that the current law has evolved from the analog to the digital era, trying to embrace what is happening within our territory. You are still battling the Alaba market boys or the people that are at MTN village telling you come and put a song on your phone for, I think, how much is it now? I know it used to be 10 naira or 20 naira at some point. All of those things. Or you see someone who downloads. I'm against downloading, but you know, it's like so, for instance, Gang of Lagos came up last week, and in 24 hours, someone already had a clear version. Same thing with what's his name now? Coming to America. And I was like, this is what technology does, because now you see it's easy for anyone to reproduce any copyrighted work. So for copyright owner, you have certain exclusive right, which is considered to be a bundle of exclusive rights. You have the right to reproduce, to sell, to publish, to translate, to adapt. So depending on the kind of work you have, there are certain exclusive rights that are accorded to you as the copyright owner. The Nigerian Copyright Commission are more energized now to do their work, because their roles have now been expanded. So you can't be saying, oh, I did not know. There's going to be a lot of engagement between now and the end of the year. So I will encourage creatives, whether it's in Port Harcourt or Lagos, if you can join virtually, join and listen to whatever it is anybody is saying about the new Copyright Act, because it's not, ignorance is not an excuse. We're no longer there. Nigeria is now one of the biggest entertainment distributor or exporter global. Everybody is bobbing their head to a Nigerian song or commending a Nigerian artist or writer or something. You know, Nigerians are basically doing well. So why would you in your own country not want to take advantage of this law? And you have issues as to online digital piracy. Someone has downloaded your song and is now sharing it. Oh, you don't hear the video timeless. I get and collect, you have shared it. We also had issues internationally where we had the pre-Spotify and the rest of them. It's called the NASTA case, where we had people had access to songs. So basically, we have what is called fair dealing for Nigeria now. Fair dealing principle, where you can use a copyrighted work for private use, you can criticize, you can create a parody or satire, research purpose, just you. But whereby you go take a step further to then start distributing and publishing to third parties without the consent, permission, or authorization of the copyright owner, you're now infringing. And one thing you find out in Nigeria is nobody sees this as a big deal. Like, I think artists like J. Cole or Beyonce being very strategic, and you want to listen to Beyonce's new album, you have to go and listen to Tidal. On Tidal now, and you know, all of those things. So all of these artists, you see that they are being they are exploiting the exclusive right they have in terms of controlling how their work will be used and assessed. And I think I had come across a post a few years ago where it said Beyonce, so she does her stage performance, which is where the performance right comes into play now. And she was to perform at Coachella. She agreed for a fixed rate. But then she went further to license her performance video to Netflix at, I think it should be Netflix, so let me not come. But she licensed it to one of these online streaming platforms for ×10 of what she was paid to perform at Coachella. So you have to be inventive and creative as to how to make money. You also find out that creatives are now going into creating merchandise. Like Rihanna's Fenty, it's doing massively. I know when Burna Boy's Twice as Tall came out, they had like a limited merch line where it had the Twice as Tall short phrases, you know. So if you now bring it down to creativity, in the digital era, you're talking of NFTs where people are minting and selling tickets and making money. If you bring it down to Nigeria, it's not that present reality. We saw the issue where Burna Boy did not come on time in December, and there was a lot of outrage. You also had issues where Kizz Daniel went to one of these African country, and I think he was late or he didn't turn up for his performance. So all those things, issues with contracts, ownership, authorship, you know, copyright infringement in terms of, oh, my song, this is my song, you copied this. We also had the recent case of what's her name now? This gospel artist with the bird. Yes, Mercy Chinua. Some people conversations as to you can't do this, you can't do this. But then if you look at that critically, this person is actually doing something he should not be doing. Under the copyright law, you have to. So it's not mandatory, but you just have to register your work. Why? In the event where there's a dispute as to ownership, or he stole my song, or my licensing just expired and you're still using it, whatever the issue may be, you can go back to the Nigerian Copyright Commission to give you a certified true copy to use as documentation to prove your case in court. Now, the advertising agency have said before you publish any state, you have to come through. So there are regulators that you also have to interface with as a creative, whether or not you like it. So which is why having an IP lawyer or a film lawyer or a music lawyer or any lawyer, not any specialized IP lawyer, intellectual property lawyer, or a law firm to guide you, so you're not going against any regulation or rules or memo or guideline that a particular regulator has put there, and tomorrow you come and say, oh, I did not know. My name is RITA CHINDAH, and you're watching my music on television.
And that's our show for this week. My name is K9. You too can be part of the show by simply doing what? Subscribing, share our videos, and nominating artists or any guest within the business of music of your choice. And that's it for this week. From all of us here, it's bye.